Yes, for you today, and I'm calling a Mayday for each town. We're about to find out why. Callie Gray is the director of the Houston one. She joins me right now to talk more about it. Welcome to Lunch for the Soul.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you for inviting me. We're so blessed to be here.
Well, you have quite an event coming to Houston.
Yes, we do.
What is it?
Well, we're excited about it. What we're doing is we're doing a 5-city tour across the USA, and Houston is the third stop. I'd like to tell a little bit about kind of how it happened.
I think we should start from the very beginning. We have plenty of time to do that, so let's just dive in.
Okay, one of my dearest friends, who is the CEO of a movement called Her Voice Movement. Movement's been going for almost 10 years, and it's a group of mama bears that said, you know what, hey, we want to make a difference. We want to make a difference with our children. We want to make a difference in our communities. We want to use our voices for things that promote righteousness and promote wellness and promote wholeness. And so over the course of this 10 years, we've done a lot of things. We've done a lot of retreats for women, went all over the U.S., and just seen a lot of incredible harvest and fruit. But several years back, we really felt the need to begin to stand for family, to begin to stand for our children. And as mama bears, not just, we wanted to use our voice in the marketplace, use our voice in our communities, but to also pray, to also use our voices in prayer. And so we've got about 7,000 prayer hubs around the U.S. where mamas are praying for their families, their marriages, their communities, their leaders, their community leaders, just really using their voice for the right thing. And then we felt like, you know what, it's time for us to stand for families. So we picked 5 cities, Houston, L.A., Seattle, New York City, and Miami. The third stop is Houston, Texas, May 18th. This is an event that is geared for the family. And so we're going to come in and we're going to do cuts for kids from 2 to 5.
So we're talking free haircuts.
So free haircuts. We're going to give away grocery cards. We're going to give away bicycles. We're going to have free entertainment, rap music, all types of Christian music for the kids. That'll go from 2 to about 5. And then from 5 until 9, the actual program will start. We'll have worship. We have a young man coming who's an evangelist, who was not raised in a traditional Christian home. He was actually raised by 2 moms, and but he gave his heart to the Lord when he was in high school, and then began to preach on the streets in LA, and now thousands of kids are coming out to hear the gospel.
Incredible.
So he will be with us.
And I want to go back to those values and those virtues that you mentioned. And I think of this in so many ways. So it will be families who agree and who are aligned with that, and they want their children to get more of that.
Right.
But then there are families who may not know anything about this, or even teenagers who've never been given this chance, who've never been taught those values,
Sure.
where maybe they'll learn something along the way. So I feel like it could really help both kinds of families, right?
Absolutely. And family can be defined a whole lot of
Sure it
ways.
can.
And but we really believe that we're going into every part of this city. We're going into every social economic status. There's nobody left out because we're all family, right? And so you're right. When the gospel's preached and when people are loved and they're shown the way, the response is incredible. What you're going to see at this event is thousands of young people that have found their way. What you're going to see is people that were lost, and when I say lost, I'm talking lost in without what they needed to succeed in society, without what they needed to have wholeness in their lives. So we're going to preach the gospel. We're also going to give testimonies of people that have, were once in maybe some, in sex trafficking. One of the reasons why we picked Houston, it's number 1 in sex trafficking in the U.S.
It's just such a ridiculous stat for our beautiful city to have. It is so heartbreaking. But you see that, and you're trying to do something about it. So what is your effort here? Are you just raising awareness, or what's the thought behind that?
Well, it's kind of going to be kind of twofold. We're going to raise awareness, but we're also going to let young people stand up that were once in it and talk about the companies or the people that help them, the different situations that they got in to get freedom and to get back on track. Because the truth is, you can raise awareness, and that's great, but you've got to give them tracks to run on for real healing.
Of course.
So there are ministries and companies that will be provided so that if there's a young person out there that's actually being trafficked or wants to get out, we'll have a track for them to run on. One of the things that we think is really important is not only preaching the gospel or giving people hope, but also giving them help. Taking their hand and walking them down a track or a solution. So if there's someone there that's been sex trafficked, we're going to help them. We're going to help them get the physical healing, the emotional healing, and then the practical healing. If there's someone there that's homeless, we're going to have help for that. If there's someone there that's bound in addiction, fentanyl and addiction is running rampant among our young people. We're losing thousands of young people across America to fentanyl and to addiction. So we're going to have a track to run on for that. So it's going to be a day of hope.
And when you say that you were all over the city and you were trying to get everybody involved in that, what kind of effort is that? I know Fox 26 is incredibly proud to be your media sponsor and to help you get out that word. But how else are you doing that besides being here at places like this to talk to me and to make sure we help spread that word?
We're doing a lot of grassroots, a lot of posters on poles and billboards. A lot of churches are helping. A lot of business people are helping. We're using Facebook and Instagram. Everything we can do. And we found that, people care about this issue. Yeah. This is an issue that people care about. We can't all, as Christians, we can't always agree on everything, We just can't. There's a lot of different stances. But what we can agree on is we want healthy families. What we can agree on is we want to see young people come out of dark places into light. And so we don't care where you come from. We don't care what you've experienced. I came from 2 alcoholic parents and was really on the wrong side of town. But a woman came in and found me and my sister, dressed us every Sunday for Sunday school, and began to pray for my parents. And God turned our whole family around, turned our whole legacy around. Our children serve God. My sister's boy does worship all over the world. We've seen what the power of one caring woman will do in my life. So can you imagine what would happen when 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 caring parents and grandparents come and say, we're for you, we're for our college kids, we're for our high school kids, we're for our junior high school kids, and we'll do whatever it takes to help you be the best version of you that God created you to be.
Well, and your enthusiasm is so beautiful, and I feel like that's so empowering, and I'm sure that everyone that you work with in this amazing project is in that same boat with that same type of positive vibe.
Girl, this is a bunch of unbelievably loving mama bears.
I love that.
And now the average age, I'm like a grandma of the bunch. The average age, I would say, is probably 30 to 45 or 50. So I'm 64, so I'm kind of one of the grandmas. But it's a group of young women across America that said, we want to make a difference. We want to not just say we love Jesus and preach the gospel, but we want to go out and be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Well, I hear you say that, and I'm thinking we're inviting Houstonians and saying you need to get there, you need to get your families there. But I also know that Houston is a very loving, giving community. So for someone who says, wow, I want to be that mama bear.
Yes.
Are you looking for other volunteers or help? Can people still get involved, and how?
Okay, there's a QR code that y'all are going to put up.
Okay.
For Houston Mayday, it's May 18th at Discovery Green. So it's a really wonderful location, and when the QR code comes up, just click it, go to Houston, and there's an opportunity to volunteer. There's an opportunity if you want to cut hair, you can cut hair.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There's an opportunity to sponsor with some finances. These aren't cheap. Yeah. We're doing this I mean, state of the art. We're bringing in LED screens. We're not sparing any expense. So maybe if you're a business person or a ministry and you say, look, I want to get involved in that, we would love for you to get involved. We're also the pastors and that work with us as people are getting saved and really finding Jesus and getting baptized. We're going to send all those churches those names so that they can reach out to these young people and give them a home.
Make sure it doesn't end there, that
Yes.
they continue that.
Yeah,
going.
we're
That's
coming in.
huge.
Of course, I'm from Houston. This is home. Okay, I'm a 7th generation Texan, so this is my home. But the group is coming into Houston, and we don't want to just blow in, do something good, and blow out, and not really follow up on these young people. So we have all types of mechanisms in place where pastors can get involved and really, really minister to these young people after we're gone.
That is brilliant. I love the follow-up because it has to be more than a day. It has to become a lifetime for them to truly get what it means and to have those people walk by their side to do that. Let's talk about what that looks like, because when we say, oh, you're going to be helped by these people, at the same time when we're talking about these people who might come forward and volunteer, don't you see so many times that they're the ones who it somehow ends up getting help, that it means so much to their heart?
I can't even tell you what it does to me, just speaking from my own personal experience. I'm a pastor at a church. We pastor in Baytown, and we have young people that have gotten, come into our church, first generation Christians, didn't come from a Christian family. So they not only need someone to tell them about Jesus, but they need someone to help them with life,
Sure,
Melissa.
they do.
They need someone to give them advice. We've got a young couple. In fact, you'll hear him perform. He's a rapper, Christian rapper, unbelievable young man. His name is Wave. And when they came into our church, I got to be more than a pastor to them. I got to be a mama to them. And man, I'll get choked up talking about it, because I think about my 5 children. I wasn't a perfect mom, but I was a loving mom, single mom. I worked my tail off to provide for them, but there's so many young people out there that are on their own. And so this gives us an opportunity to reach them and then bring them in close and then mentor them, help them with their education, help them know how to balance a checkbook, or show up. We bring these young people to our family Christmases and love them and show them what family looks like, because you're right. A lot of people are born in a lot of situations where what they see as family is not healthy. So we try to give them a healthy and advantage point.
How many times do we see a story of crime? And I don't know about you, but me as a God-fearing mama bear, I always think if they had just only had more love in their life, that might not have happened. If somebody had hugged them and told them their worth, if they knew Jesus and that they knew that they could be forgiven of everything that's happened in their lives and they can start anew and truly believe that, what a different world we would live in. This message is clear and huge.
You're right. It's an identity crisis. It's an identity crisis, because when you know Jesus, when you get to know Jesus, when you give your life to Jesus, the first thing the Lord's going to do is he's going to reveal to you who he created you to be. And once he reveals to you who he created you to be, then your faith begins to soar and you start believing God for the impossible. And I love it as I see these young people open up and all of a sudden they have hope in their eyes and they believe that they can do what God created them to do, and their dreams begin to flourish. And it really, you're right, it changes you as much or more than as it changes them.
Well, I'm trying to picture Discovery Green. It's going to be magical, but there's so much happening. So will there be booth setups? So I know you said there's like haircuts, there's grocery card giveaways, even bike giveaways. How does all that happen, and how do you space it all out?
Well, from 2 to 5, every 10 minutes we'll be given a bicycle, a grocery card, away.
And how does that happen? Are you like
people are donating
numbers? But I mean, like, does somebody have a number?
Oh yeah,
and it's like a drawing.
Yeah, they'll be given like little tickets, and we'll be calling that out every 10 minutes. And then also during that time, there'll be a testimony, a giveaway. There'll be a rap song, a giveaway. So it's going to be real entertaining and engaging from 2 to 5. There'll be booths set up so people can, and they're getting their haircuts. Yeah. So all the haircuts are going, and there's also going to be street evangelism then. So there'll be evangelists walking up. Everybody's going to be talking about Jesus. We'll be baptizing people during that time. And then,
And how does the baptism take place? Do you have
they're bringing in a horse trough.
I love
and then
it.
everybody's bringing in buckets of water. We're going to fill that thing up,
Okay.
and we're going to baptize people right there.
And you
so-
expect at least hundreds, right?
Well,
Maybe
I expect thousands.
You really think it'll be thousands?
Well, we already here. Let me just tell you, I did an
incredible.
event last year at the Capitol. Okay, we had 1,000 signed up and 2,500 showed up. Okay, so I believe we've already got 1,000 signed up. So you can count on. Okay, I'm coming. I've got 2 daughters that are coming and 3 grandkids. They're not signed up. I just signed up for the family. So I believe we'll have 3,000 there at least.
That's awesome.
That's a real conservative.
Sure.
And we could have as much as 5. So
and there's room for that.
and there's room for that. So yeah. So there'll be booths set up for people to. There'll be a prayer tent. There'll be people explaining all kinds of things. You know, there'll be all kinds of if someone is having issues with sex trafficking, or they've been in that lifestyle, or they've been in that kind of bondage, we'll have a tent set up for them to go to, for someone to talk to them. So we're going to have a whole lot of help out there that day.
When I look back at videos that you've done in other cities, and it's just this feeling of beauty is the first word that comes to mind. Inspiration.
Thank you.
I just felt like I was in the middle of it all, just watching the video. I can't imagine experiencing it in person.
It's unbelievable experiencing it in person. I can't wait for you to meet Jenny. I hope you get to come out that day. Jenny is the CEO, the founder of Her Voice, and this was really birthed in her heart. I've had the pleasure of running alongside of her and being a mama to her, one of her mama bears, a mama to her during this kind of metamorphosis as the ministry has grown. But what I love seeing is, and most of these, Melissa, most of these girls that are running with this mandate are first generation Christians.
My goodness. It's
So
incredible.
they're out there by the thousands. They're looking for Jesus, of course. They're looking for the gospel, but they're also looking for family. And so this is why we're using our voice for this. This is going to be an incredible event because anytime the gospel's preached, there's hope. Anytime you get to hear testimonies, it gives people hope that there's hope for them. But also the practical things we're going to do for everyone that comes, the giveaways, all the practical things, people are going to feel very loved.
And you know, I have to ask this because we are in Houston. Rain or shine, is there a contingency plan just in case there were to be severe weather? We're certainly hoping for clear skies, and we're going to call it early,
In the
but just
name.
in case.
Well, we're going to be there.
Okay.
Rain or shine.
So we're hoping that it's going to be a beautiful day, and that's what we're going with.
Yes, and if it's raining, we'll all have our umbrellas and be there.
Sure, and that's okay. It's going to be amazing.
I believe it's going to be beautiful.
Yes, I do too. How much does this mean to you?
Well, it means the world to me. Because of where I come from, because of what I actually personally went through as a child and a young person, and the people that gave me hope. I remember teachers that gave me hope. I remember the little Pentecostal woman that picked me up and took me to Sunday school that gave me hope. And then, of course, my parents. You know, the story for me is that lady started praying for our family. My parents sobered up and turned their lives around. My mother had come from a Christian family, so she gave her heart to the Lord. So I watched someone love us right into wholeness. And so for me to have the opportunity to help love people into wholeness, that's what my life is about, Melissa. I'm a pastor, but I'm not a pastor just in name.
Right.
I'm a pastor because I want to love people and help people. And we've got a whole world around us that needs it.
Well, and I feel like you sharing your testimony is so important for people because I do feel like we tend to put our pastors up on a pedestal. We think they've had a perfect life. And when you hear that you had struggles, but you still love God with all your heart, and then you're going on to help other people, I just think that's very real and really important for people to hear.
Thank you. We've got a whole generation of people that are living real lives, and they're ugly. Many have had painful, ugly experiences, and sad to say, in a lot of situations, the church has not been what the church needed to be, and it is time for the church and God's people to stand up and be the hands and feet of Jesus and show people the way and love people into the way.
How good does it feel to be a part of something this powerful? And
Well,
this
it
big?
is a blessing. We were a part. We went to Washington D.C. right in October. Took 375,000 women and prayed for our
Oh my
nation,
goodness.
and it's been a blessing. It's changed my whole perspective about life. When you start meeting women from all different walks of life and who have been in all types of lifestyles, and then you've seen what the power and the love of Jesus can do for them, it'll bring you to your knees. So it's been a huge blessing for me. I love spending. I didn't dream when I was a young woman that I would be so busy in this type of work, and I'm doing what I love the most and having the most fun at 65 years old.
That is incredible. And I think that's something that everybody can remember, right? That you can find such meaningful things in life throughout different stages in your life.
Sure.
Now, I want to go back to what you said about trying to make sure that everybody who goes doesn't make it a one-time event, that they get involved in some type of church, that they have that backing.
Sure.
So do you have, and you said you'll try to assign them to different churches or hopefully have the churches reach out to them. Do you already have partners in place for that, or how
We
does
have
that work?
partners. We need more.
Okay. So
So-
more churches need to come up and say, we're in.
Yes,
Okay.
if you're a pastor out there, if you will just go register in the notes, put up a pastor, we're going to reach out. We're reaching out to everybody weekly that is already registered, and we will let you know. We're going to have a couple of different pre-events for pastors, just because we want to take care of the young people, the teenagers, the college students, everyone that comes to this event that finds Jesus and really surrenders their life. We want to be there to help them.
Yeah. This is more about just riding off on a brand new bike. This
No.
is about riding off into a brighter future with a lot of hope.
Yes. And you know what? It is amazing the hope you can get from a real dialed in church or a dialed in company that, there's a lot of Christian men and women that have businesses here that love to help young people. This is your opportunity to really make a difference.
So it sounds like you could even get a mentor or something along the way, hopefully, right?
For
Somebody
sure.
to follow up
For
with
sure.
you.
There's so many, I had the privilege of going to a young adults, ministering to a young adults group at Inspire Church here in Houston. And there was like 300 of them. The pastor there is Pastor Andrew Hurd, and then of course his grandfather, Dr. Hurd too, Dr. Richard Hurd. But they have a beautiful church there. But I had the privilege of coming in and talking to them about Mayday. There was 300 young adults that you could tell they were first generation Christians. These kids had come off the street. They were passionate about Jesus. And as I preached that day, they lapped up what this 60-plus-year-old woman had to say like it was water from heaven. And the power of God just moved there. I'm telling you, God's doing something in Houston. And I really believe that this is going to light a match and light a fire of revival in Houston among our young people, and we'll be talking about it for years to come.
It's incredible. I love that thought, and I hope and pray that's what happens. Let's go through all the deets one more time.
Okay.
When, where, and everything they need to know about parking as well.
Sure. Okay, first of all, you need to register. So there should be a QR code on here for you to register.
Okay.
You register, then we'll give you all the details about parking and all of that.
Okay.
Okay, it's December. It's May 18th. From 2 to 5, actually from 2 to 9.
Okay.
So the pre-rally's 2 to 5. And then starting at about 6, we'll actually start the actual service, okay, from 6 to 9. It's at Discovery Green. It's on a Sunday afternoon. We'll start all of us will start getting there probably between 10:30 and 11.
Oh, a lot of setup, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
a lot of setup, getting everything there. But you can get there at 2 o'clock. It's free to get in.
Nice.
Come, be a part, bring you some snacks and some water. Plan on enjoying the day. That's a beautiful setup if you've been to
is.
Discovery Green.
incredible.
So we just can't wait to see you. There's a QR code for you to register and however you want to be involved, there's an opportunity on the site to be involved.
Yeah, whether you want to help out, whether you want to follow up through your church, or whether you can give financially, it'd be huge.
Yes, we would appreciate the financial donations. I think we have about half the money raised. It's costing us, and I'll just tell you, it's costing us about $750,000 to do these 5 cities. So we have about half the money raised. So anybody that feels led, that wants to sow a seed, you're sowing into the generations to come. You're sowing into your children, your grandchildren. You're sowing into generational legacy.
Could make a huge difference.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's so wonderful to talk to you, Callie. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Melissa,
I
for
hope
having me.
it's the biggest one in the country. Let's
Yes.
turn out H-Town and make it huge. Texas style, everything bigger and better here.
Yes.
God bless you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, and God bless you for inviting me.
So excited about it. All right, that's going to wrap it for today, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Lunch for the Soul. I hope you join us same time, same place next week. Have a beautiful day and be blessed. You blessed us by being here with us today.